Hello Wargamers, it's me Harry from Tabletop Banter, and today I'm bringing you a really short, quick video on how to paint up Skaven clan rats really quickly. So those of you that saw my previous video, I showed you guys my Skaven army, and I showed you them all together, all fully painted, and I'd managed to do them all in an evening, the whole Skaven side of Spire Dawn. So I thought I would respray up another single chappie. I don't have another load at my disposal, otherwise I'd probably do a sort of big time lapse of another 20 or even 40 guys. So I'm just going to paint up one of them just to show you, how quick it is to do these guys. Obviously it's exponentially bigger the more you do. So first of all, based in black, and then colours wise, for his fur I went for Rhinox hide as the first colour, Mornfang brown as the second colour, and then use Shabty bone as the final sort of highlight. And then for reds we do the corn red, but you can use any other colour. So if you want green rats, you can just pick a green or a yellow or whatever. Red for the eyes, and then a bolt gun metal. Brush wise, most of my work is going to be done with this horrible scabby brush. Doesn't look like much, but you'll see why in a minute. I also have this really beat up old large Sistel brush for more of the, I say, detailed dry brushing work. And then I've got a really fine guy here, just for the eyes at the end. So, first thing you want is a bit of paper to do a bit of dry brushing on. Make sure they're all shaped up nicely, and just take the Rhinox hide and really get it down fairly dry, not too dry, and you literally just want to do the whole model really quickly and really rough all over. Maybe not at the top of the spear. And you want to focus mainly on the bottom areas, because this is where Rhinox hide is going to prevail. And it's as quick as that. That's the main rat done in Rhinox hide. That was super quick. I didn't really go into the crevice here. There's no need because it's so dark. You only really go for the areas that are going to be seen. My brush is still really dry, so if you're doing 20 of these guys, you don't want to be waiting for this big brush to dry completely. So I just go straight into Mornfang brown without even washing the brush, because these brushes take an age to dry. And I just do the same thing again, but this time I don't quite go all the way down to the bottom of the model. I just sort of do the top 2/3 of the model in a nice dry brush like that. Really focusing on the top layers. There we go. So that is just a bit of brown work done there, and that's as quick as it is for that guy. If I was doing 20 plus, I would wash this brush now, because I'm going to be doing some metallics and reds. As that's only going to take a couple of seconds with this guy, I'm just going to leave that to one side. I'm going to grab this brush out, and unfortunately my corn red I actually left open, so this is going to be a little bit slower, because it's very dry in there at the moment. So I'm just going to have to grab a bit of corn red and bring it almost to a dry brush, and then you just sort of take some of the areas that I want red. So I just want a bit of this cloth here done in red. So I just almost put on as a sort of a heavy dry brush like that. So yeah, it caught on the spear a little bit. We can try and sort of rub it off with our finger, but there we go. I just put a little bit of red on each one of my guys. That's all it really needs. And wash that off because that is a little bit watery. Now we go into our bolt gun. Get a bit more on that brush. So that's now relatively dry, but not too dry for these sort of detailed, more detailed areas. And then we're just going to sort of paint on the spear, obviously leaving it quite sort of a dry brushed effect. And then we're just going to do a bit on the head. I'm just going to dry it off a little bit more. And then his armour on the back here. And then just gently over the shield, try not to get the inner workings. And that is pretty much that done. So that rat now has his metals done, his red done, and his base done. But the real magic happens in this next layer, and that is a final layer of Shabty bone. And that is the same as the start. the first two colours. So you go for a real sort of dry brush in this, and this is the most important dry brush to get consistent. So you want this dry brush to look the same over the whole model, or all over 20 guys. So obviously if you're doing 20 guys, you're probably going to be wanting to change your brush, reload your brush, I mean, after about 5 guys. So this is the most important one to keep consistent. So get it really nice and dry, and just go over the whole model. See, that's almost a little bit too, but you just want to be going over the whole model, but only really on the top layers. So just on the top here. And what that does is it almost just ties everything in quite nicely. So just at the top of the tail there. So I've got a bit of a progression on the tail there. I've got light at the top and dark at the bottom. And it even it just self-highlights the model really, and it's very good for, say, on the helmet, where you've got the silver next to some of the brown. Obviously when I was putting some of the silver on, it went onto the brown, but when you put this highlight on, it sort of covers up that silver, highlights the silver and highlights the brown, and just sort of really brings it in and ties it together. And that again is only focused on the top of the model, and what that gives is at the bottom of his feet are still pretty much black, and they've still got that rhinox hide. As you've moved up, you've got more than one fang brown, and at the top of his head you've got the Ushabti bone. And obviously on top of the spear as well, we can give a bit of that, but last step is just to get the Wazdaka red, is what I use for the eyes. Just get a little bit on the detail brush. About that much, and little dab there, little dab there, and that is that done. And it's as quick as that. I don't know how quick that was. I think I managed to paint up about 20 guys in an hour, if that. I think about half an hour it took. He still needs basing. Obviously this doesn't include time for basing. I mean, I can quickly do my bases now whilst I'm talking. I literally just did a dry brush of, oh, I have to get out my pot. I just did a dry brush of Dawnstone. But this technique is really good for this sort of army, where it's just super quick, grubby troops. Callum's doing quite a quick technique for his high elves, or whatever they're called now, and you can have a quick look on Twitter, just to see how he's getting on with those, because he's put a few photos up on Twitter. And he's been doing a really interesting technique using red washes for his golds. Obviously this uses no washing, this is just dry brushing, so you've got your models, you know, ready instantly. So there we go, that guy's all base now. He's completely done. And yeah, so I'm sure he will be doing a video on how to paint the elf side nice and quick soon. But using this technique, I got these guys painted up in an evening. It took me 4 to 6 hours, and I used this across all of the models. I even used it on my Warlord, I used it on the Rat Ogres, on absolutely everything. So I'll just stick this guy in the photo booth with a couple of his other mates. I'm not sure if he'll blend in well with the other ones, seeing as I painted him separately, but hey ho. So yeah, that's been it from me. I'll roll on a few photos of these guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Most importantly, have fun.